Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's back. We have returned to the land of Westeros and Essos. Game of Thrones has returned to HBO, and luckily, I don't have HBO as a subscription, but it's their free week. They specifically did their free week, and so people who would watch Game of Thrones get addicted and go like, I guess I should order the package. Probably not gonna be able to do that. Sorry. Watch it now. I will probably have to wind up downloading the others after they're premiered, but rest assured, it's not piracy because I will buy season 3 when it comes to DVD. So that absolves me to some degree, I guess. Yeah, support the official release. Great start off to season 3. Good building, good showing us continuing the fallout. Although normally the climax of the season's always like episode 9. These are 10 episode seasons, so the fallout from the climax is actually always episode 10. But we get to see some interesting stuff. Really, more just continuation of what was going on from season 3 or season 2. We finally get to see Stannis, in his really depression. He's got the beard all grown out. Not grown out, but he's not shaving. He's really not into it. We got to see how he recovers from this, because I understand he bounces back to a degree and gets his shit together. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. No Jaime this episode. Fortunately, I guess there's a lot of characters to follow. Let's every episode or so we kind of skip it. We're gonna miss people. I guess the big thing is I literally just finished recording my season 3 finale of The Walking Dead just 2 minutes ago, and now we have another show with zombies. If we go to the north and figure out what's going on there, don't get to actually see the battle. It's implied. Actually, it's kind of very confusing. If it wasn't for the fact that I've been on a forum and a couple of people had quickly talked about the fact that the book begins and they kind of skip over the battle that happens with the Night Watch and the Walkers. If it wasn't for that fact, I'd be very confused. Okay, what happened to that army? Did they do anything? Did they kill a couple of guys? What? But knowing that, I can forgive that. So if there's a few people that don't read the books and kind of complain about that, I guess, okay, it's accurate to the story. Although I wish it was a little bit more clear that they made it that that force was just decimated. There was a battle off screen. Oh well. But yeah, we got to see them kind of licking their wounds and are now returning. Hey, at least we got to see some direwolf action there. And more importantly, we get to see Max Rider get an idea of, I guess, that interesting to see how this character is going to come about. Again, I'm not that familiar with the books. I've heard a few little excerpts and some basic plot threads. So for me, it's going to be interesting to see how this character develops. And when he hears Snow's speech about why he truly wants, at least I think a little speech that actually does kind of speak true to the heart. He does question a bit of the Night's Watch, its methods, what are they actually doing. I mean, the Lord Commander basically knows that this guy's doing weird ass shit, and he's giving his babies to the Walkers. I think even Snow's a bit confused over what he wants. So it'll be very interesting to see how that all pans out. Again, it's always tough with Snow. I know his character is going somewhere. You just don't know where. After all, there are still 2 books. And it won't be until book 5. He's one of those characters I have a feeling it's he's there the entire time and you're not sure why you're following him until the very end. And all I can say with that is I know people have said there's a reason we're following Snow and it's in the title. And of course, the title of the books is A Song of Fire and Ice, so I'm guessing he's the ice part. But you're not quite sure why at this point. That's all I have to say about that. We didn't see Arya, although we do kind of pick up where damn, I forgot his name. The faceless man from last season, where he'd land where they originated from, because his whole little speech pattern, like this one or the boy, the city where Daenerys goes to this season, though, which is the thing I think everyone's been excited about, because this is where we're seeing they're showing her getting her shit together now. She's going to buy an army of Unsullied, and as I said that, I'm kind of like putting my hand over my chest over that little scene where like he kind of questions like how loyalty the guys goes. He just goes over and he cuts off one of the Unsullied nipples, and the guy just stands there like he doesn't even feel it, and just goes, "Oh, glad to serve you, sir." And he walk back in the line. Just bleeding out from that. It's just like, oh, come on. It's gonna be scary with her with that, because you can kind of tell Daenerys is of course one of the most interesting characters in the series, I think, because she has that balance where she wants to do good, but she will do bad to do good. Like, she has a very good sense of right and wrong and to help people, and she is willing to commit to that, to use violence. Like, she really doesn't care about necessarily the honor, all that stuff. She cares about actually when people are being wronged, to fix that, to do. She's very much, again, like Tyrion. So it's gonna be very interesting when she has control of this army. I know a little bit of what's to come, but it'll be also interesting how much money did she get from oh god, the guy with like 10,000 names last season. So, I don't know if she had enough to buy 8,000 Unsullied warriors, but maybe she's got some other wealth. I don't know. Again, this is going to be one of those cases where everyone that's read the book's like, I know how, don't you? No, I'm voting. They're probably a great series. Actually, I probably will wind up picking them up for this summer. I'll probably read them over this, at least a couple of them over the summer. But I digress. So that's looking cool. Again, oh, how did I forget this? Because the episode ended. She gets her own little Queen's Guard. It's kind of interesting to see how this series is having characters come back from earlier that is just like, oh, that guy, he's back? Yeah, the head of the King's Guard, who was dismissed at the end of Season 1, even though he supported the king, he's returned as decided, I guess that he's going to defend the new queen. Like, that's his support. It's going to be interesting because up until now, Daenerys has only had like people that are either been banished from Westeros for a very long time themselves, or people that really don't know Westeros politics, telling her about like her supporters and all this stuff. Really, this character is the first time she's going to have an actual person that is fully aware of the politics of Westeros and how they, what's actually going on there, who supports who, what's your real push to the claim, or push to claim of the throne. So it's going to be interesting how he relates to her. Is she going to be like, in reality, not too many people are even thinking about you. But at the same time, you go, you know what? The Baratheons are at each other's throats. Nobody really likes Joffrey. And, well, the Starks are doing their thing. If you showed up, you might be able to. I always figured, like, it's such a mess in Westeros that maybe a lot of people will be willing to accept the Targaryens back again, because, it'd be like, you guys, at least we were stable to a degree. You had, like, a Mad King. Come on. So that's really the interesting thing with that character. She's got someone now that can really fill her in on what's going on in Westeros. As for Robb, we get like 5 minutes of Robb. Basically, it's interesting, the character of the Mountain. He's mentioned so often, and yet we've only seen him like once. No sign of the Hound, though. But he basically tucked his tail and ran away, abandoning Harrenhal. Sorry, Littlefinger. To that scene. I guess those were supposed to be prisoners of war that were like kind of slaughtered there. I take it, since it's in the opening scene, they're probably going to stick in Harrenhal for a little while. So it'll be interesting to see how this all ferments with Robb. But we really didn't see any progression on him, other than his now wife. It's not clear how open their marriage is, like how many people really know about it, or if they're still kind of keeping it on the down low. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe at this point Robb is thinking, if I win the war, I'll then announce my marriage. Because at that point I'll have the power where it won't matter that I didn't follow through on that pledge of marriage to what's the guy that ran the twins? So many family names to remember in this series. It's really fucking hard. But maybe that's what I think character-wise, maybe if it's not widely known that that's his wife now, that might be his thinking. Is my thoughts is, if I win this war, I will be a king. And if I want to say, fuck the marriage, this is my wife, there's not a whole lot that guy can do. Like, maybe he's figured, okay, I'll honor the other marriages, and maybe compensate him in some other way. But that's what I'll do. Not much else to talk about. More interesting, of course, to talk about is the more interesting stuff really is going on in probably King's Landing, where we get to see Joffrey, the Queen, and of course probably the character that's really coming to the forefront, someone who was just really in the background last time, and that is Margaery Tyrell, the new Queen to be, who Sansa Stark is, cannot pronounce her name today. Really, Joffrey treated her like crap, really sadistic with her. Here he seems to be somewhat intimidated by her, but also she knows not to push the intimidation factor. And we see how she's playing the game, and I think it's really, really pissing off the Queen. And I'll get into that dynamic in a little bit, but she is handling Joffrey like she's playing the game, and she's playing it well. And what she does is she wants to be the queen, but she wants to be the queen. She wants people to see her as that. She doesn't just want the title. She wants that respect from everybody. And so we see her really doing PR. Like, she goes to like orphanage. She goes in the series, she goes to an orphanage, and it looks like she's throwing her money like she's really generous. No, what she really is doing, she knows what she's doing. And they gotta go comment on her dress. She knows she's rich enough she can afford to dress. What she's buying is publicity. She's buying love, and she can sell it. And you can kind of partially tell if you look at the subtlety of her performances. She is really going for this whole thing to get the people to love her and to want them to be her queen. Everyone won't want them to be her queen. And Cersei is hating her for it, because this is something Cersei can't do. I'll get into Cersei's character in a moment. But it's great to see how she plays Joffrey, and also knows how to play her off of her mother. Like, Joffrey actually genuinely wants to try to impress her, but we all know at his heart, he's a coward. And I think he partially knows that he's he's indebted to the Tyrells. He cannot afford to piss off the Tyrells, because they could always switch sides again and go back to supporting one of the other claimants to the throne. So he knows right from the get-go she has this kind of power over her. Her brother is still there, one of the top knights in the realm. Someone who could probably slaughter his own King's Guard. Who, I don't know, you just got the feeling with Cersei's there's been enough, how should I put it, manipulation of the King's Guard that you're wondering how effective these guys are, because you always get the feeling that Cersei puts people in charge or in position overall based on their loyalty, but not to her or people she can feel she can control, but they can't do the job. Where everyone else will try to get people somewhat loyal to them, but understands that the job's got to get done first and foremost. And she kind of shows, as she's pointing out, actually, Margaery, she kind of puts, "Oh, very interesting garb you're wearing, my grace. You're wearing this to Cersei's. Yeah, the armor, it's very interesting. Never seen that." It's just kind of the fact that Cersei does kind of wear armor around in her outfit, and that's because she's afraid someone's going to try to stab her. She's going to be assassinated because she thinks everyone is like her. You've got to understand actually, I'll get literally 1 second. I know I keep on putting this off. Her armor, that's quite clear that she's building up, is genuine love of the people. She's going to try to play the people to be her protector. Now, of course, Machiavelli would argue against this. Don't worry, I'm not going to get into a whole... If you've watched my Season 3 finale of The Walking Dead, I got into a little tangent on political philosophy there. Won't get too much here, although Game of Thrones is very Machiavelli. And Margaery kind of plays against Machiavelli. She tries to get the actual love of the people so that they won't try to kill her, which can work. Machiavelli necessarily wouldn't argue against that. He would also he would see that it's useful, but don't rely on it. But I guess in this world, it's such a unique trait that she sees she can grab it, and it's just pissing off Cersei's, because this is what you have to understand about Cersei's. This is what I've been talking about for a while, and you can see this come through in this little conversation. Cersei is a narcissist, and I'm not talking about like this. She's very self-obsessed. I mean, clinically, if she went to a psychiatrist, she would be classified as a textbook narcissist, where she can only understand stuff within herself, and she's very self-centered narcissist. She's willing to kill to get her way in any way, and whenever she does find value, she covets and twists in such a way that it try to get everyone to see her point of view. It's very interesting psychological position. I think it's actually rather well done here to show this is really when you talk about a narcissist, look at Cersei. She's a textbook example of one, and that makes her paranoid of everyone else because she literally can't understand other people. She can only see it in forms of herself, so she thinks everyone else is like her, which is why she only kind of trusts her brother, which is literally with her, this is kind of also the root of her incest to a degree, and why she trusts her children, because they are of her. They are of her blood to a degree. That only works so far because she hates her brother. But this pisses her off that she's seeing this character possibly actually use the love of the people. She doesn't want that, and she's certainly one of those characters where you can tell if she ever got actual power, would fuck it up so royally. In her case, very literally, to use that term. She would not be able to actually handle power, and you kind of see that where she actually is not very good with power. She doesn't understand how to use it. She's kind of, if we were to use the how should I put it, the Joker from The Dark Knight, he talks about, I'm like a dog chasing the car. If I ever caught up, what would I do with it? Very much what is what Cersei is. She's chasing power, but she actually has no idea what to do with it. Because once she has power, she can only think to accumulate more power, but you can't squeeze something too tightly and you kind of break it. So it's interesting, and I'm gonna look forward to seeing more dynamic with those two playing off each other, and to see how this Margaery kind of plays into the court, and of course to see how much more I can hate Joffrey. I so hope he dies this season. I don't know who dies during the Red Wedding. I've heard of the Red Wedding, and then it's like I read like 2 sentences and I was like, bunch of people die. I'm not gonna ruin it for myself. So, close. I'm hoping maybe it's his wedding. Actually, I heard a lot of people, so maybe I don't know. We'll find out. I think that pretty much covers everyone. I mean, we saw Stannis before she took the Onion Knight away to the dungeons. He didn't kill her though, so maybe there'll be more of that. Again, it's the starter, and the seasons always kind of start slow, especially ever since this one starts especially slow. I guess last season we were introduced to new characters. At least we got to see, Stannis. This season, nobody really knew. We're following the people we've been established with, so it'll be interesting to follow. I could talk about Tyrion and Tywin, but that's kind of like what we've understood. I think this is the first time it's been clearly articulated how those two react, and the position that we put in. And again, it's for the audience. We're kind of very sad because Tyrion's being put into this position we all know is unfair, because he's probably way more competent. Actually, it might be interesting to see if, like, later on in the season, he kind of points out to his father, you sent me here to deal with him, but this is how Joffrey is. He's crazy. It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe his father will, to some degree, kind of look at him like, okay, I understand why it was such a pain to work with Joffrey, because he's Caligula, basically. Maybe we'll get a little bit of that. Maybe not. Probably not with this series. Anyway, that's it. Don't know when I'm going to get to see the next episode. It probably won't be till like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it kind of really hits the internet and I can watch it real quick on a stream or something. But again, HBO, if you're watching, if you're listening in, don't worry. I buy the DVDs, like not even used. I buy them new from you guys. You got me with that. And I would probably subscribe to HBO, but like half the stuff you have on there, I own the DVDs too. I'm one of those guys with a huge DVD collection, so I really can't justify subscribing to HBO. Not for one television series. Anyway, that is that. Signing off for now, guys. Stay tuned for more reviews. Evil Dead will probably be the next movie review I do. Of course, the remake. Or maybe it's a sidequel. We still don't know. There's a mystery about that. I'm starting to cough. And outside of that, are there any other site news? I really can't think of any at the time. Yeah, Evil Dead, and it's kind of dead for a while, ironically. Not a whole lot. Was considering possibly seeing The Host, but I've heard it's so bad it's not even worth seeing. So we'll probably not see that. Very glad I did not see that this week. Probably maybe tomorrow or the next day I will finally get that. My problem with test audiences or screening audiences in movies. I think I also have a counter monkey that I recorded but never put up. So maybe it might be a busy week. I don't know. Signing off. Bye.